Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to another movie review. And like I said before, I want to do two reviews that I want to do for my birthday month of June, because I hope you're enjoying anime month, which I was doing, but I wanted to get a couple of other movie reviews in. And I wanted to review two of the films. Sorry, to my all-time favorite franchise. I've been wanting to review Jurassic World for a while, and I've got that up. You can check that out. Sadly, it is a rant video, so it didn't age well with me, and nowadays I can see it sucks basically. So that's what I say about it. So yeah, overall, yeah, I dislike Jurassic World though. So you can check out that rant on that video. And now I wanted to get to the next film that came out last year, the next sequel, which is now the fifth one in the franchise now. And to me, I said this in my review of Jurassic World, I think this is much better and an improvement than Jurassic World. And I thought I was a little bit skeptical though because of Jurassic World now. But first now, so after seeing this film, I saw this in the theater last year, and I really did enjoy it. And that is of Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. And I really enjoy this sequel. And this is if I remember, I did put this as number 3 as my favorite film of last year, 2018. And also, just because I enjoy the film so much, I got the poster. You can check out my birthday vlog of this month. You can see the thumbnail. I got the poster of Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, so you can check out my birthday vlog. I uploaded that a while ago, so you can see the thumbnail. I'm holding the poster. I got that for my birthday. But it's this poster right here. The park is gone. So yeah, so I enjoy Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, and it definitely is an improvement. One of the big improvements. Okay, one of the complaints is that our main characters return. Chris Pratt as Owen Grady, and Bryce Dallas Howard as Claire Deering or Darling, I think where her last name was though. But one of the complaints I had is that Chris Pratt in the previous film Jurassic World, he was given nothing to do. Although his performance was good, but he was given nothing to do otherwise. And Bryce Dallas Howard's character, I thought she was annoying and a bit bitchy in the previous film. And especially, the thing with her running in high heels. I don't think I didn't mention that though. But yeah, her running in high heels, yeah, the whole thing. But here, okay, in this film, Chris Pratt, he does have a little bit more to do. And Bryce Dallas Howard, she was less annoying, and her performance was less annoying, less bitchy, and much more improvement than her character was in the previous film. So yeah, so that's another positive. These are two main leads here. Their performances were improvement over the previous film. So that's one thing. That's another good thing. And now the director of this film, Bayona, he directed a couple of things. One, he directed a drama called The Impossible that had Ewan McGregor and Naomi Watts and Tom Holland. That was a few years before Tom Holland would become Spider-Man in the MCU. I like that movie. He's directed a couple of horror films as well, which helped with the tone of this film. He directed one called The Orphanage, which I've not seen, but he also directed a monster film called A Monster Calls. That was one that had when Liam Neeson, he voiced the monster in that film. But he directed a couple of ones like that. I could see that the tone of this film, they wanted to go a more darker sequel. And I could definitely see it. I could definitely see the tone and atmosphere of this film is definitely much more darker, and like with the director, he directing a couple of horror films. This film actually was, to me, looked more of a horror film as well. So yeah, it was much more of a darker sequel, and like especially towards the third, well, a little bit in the where they're on the island, and also towards the last half, it becomes like a horror film. So definitely, I really enjoy that aspect. I enjoy the dark tone and the horror elements they put into it. And also the supporting cast does a good job as well. Well, for the most part, which I brought it up before though. But and the effects, which were much more an improvement than the previous film. There are much more practical animatronics, which I do appreciate. Which I think that's what the director wanted. He wanted to add more animatronics in there. So I give credit to the director on this more than Colin Trevorrow, who directed the previous one. But now, sadly, he's coming back to direct the third one, though. I just hope he just does a better job with the third one than he did with the first one. Because after seeing this film, I'm interested to see how the third film will go, how the film ends. Which people have seen the film by now, so they should know how the film ends. So how this film ends, I'm interested in how the third film goes. So, but with the director who did the first Jurassic World, I'm skeptical on that though. So, well, I think he did a much better job here because I think he helped write the film and executive produced it along with Steven Spielberg, who came back to executive producer as well. So, but Colin Trevorrow, who directed the first one, he was executive producer along with Steven Spielberg, and he also helped write the film along with Derek Colony. So I guess he did much better. I give him much more better credit than as executive producer / writer than director than he did in the first film, the previous one. So yeah, so much more improvement, like more in script and supporting cast, better effects. The score by Michael Giacchino, I think it was much better score than the previous one as well, because it added this one. Which some people complain about the score about that though, but I don't see how. I think it adds more because it adds more. The score adds like it is a horror film, especially on a lot of certain scenes in the movie, which the score goes kind of acts like it is a horror film. If you get what I'm saying. So I think that the score by Michael Giacchino is much better than the previous one. Although I did like some of the score from the ending of the first film is added during the credits. So yeah. Nice to hear that though, but that was one piece of score I liked at the end at Jurassic World, was playing at the end with the T-Rex roaring. So yeah, but sadly though, despite all the things I said though, critics basically did not like critics did not like this film. Although they did praise like the surprising dark elements they put into it though, but it has a 47% Rotten Tomatoes, has a 6.29 dB, so it's much lower than the first one, which I disagree with. So I disagree with that though. This film, well, because people praise Jurassic World. I would like I said, I respect anyone's opinions who like the first Jurassic World. I hold nothing against anybody who likes the first Jurassic World. You know, it's their own opinion, and I respect that. But to me, nowadays, I think it sucks now. And to me, I don't think this doesn't deserve the shit fitting this one got than while the previous one got the pass. I disagree with that. So to me, this didn't deserve it. I think this is much more improvement than the previous film. But despite all that, and none box office wise, this film made a surprisingly good amount of money. It came, I would say, yeah, it made much less than the previous one though, but had a very decent opening week. Well, a much big opening weekend, and the amount of money it made for what this surprising sequel got. Like the first Jurassic World, it made about over 600 million domestically, worldwide, $1,670 million. And this film did, and also when I forgot to mention the 208 opening weekend the previous film got. Well, this film made about 140 million on its opening weekend, and it did, and especially this was I was surprised this made amount of money. Especially this came out the weekend after Incredibles 2, which that had 180 million. So two films. This is the first time when two films back to back each grossed over 100 million on opening weekend since 2007, which was Shrek the Third and the third Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. So yeah, the first time in over a decade, and two films back to back grossed over 100 million each weekend back to back. So, but this film made a good amount of money and made over 417 million domestically and worldwide, just barely crossing over $1.3 billion. So it was about 300 million less than the first one. So, but to me, it still made a good amount of money for that, surprisingly, for this film. But yeah, box office wise was good, but not critical wise, which I disagree with. Except for one thing, though, which I'll get to. But okay, the full story is it follows like it's 3 years after the events of Jurassic World, and now people are determined whether because because Isla Nublar, its volcano is about to erupt and the island's about to be destroyed. And people are debating whether should they save the dinosaurs or not. And you get a cameo appearance by Jeff Goldblum coming back as Dr. Ian Malcolm. Which people, I would definitely see his cameo is pointless and useless in this film. But at the same time, it was nice to see Jeff Goldblum coming back as Dr. Malcolm because, trying to, once again, be canon and continuity with the previous films. With the first and second film with Jeff Goldblum. But it's pointless though, but at the same time, to me, it was good to see Jeff Goldblum coming back as Dr. Malcolm. But he's debating, they said the dinosaurs should be left there to die, because how man-made stuff has let, genetic power has gotten out of hand, all that stuff, so he's saying let them die. And with Bryce Dallas Howard, she's now running, which, like I said, her character is much more better now, to me, in the previous film. She's now running this Save the Dinosaurs Act Club, I should say, and she gets a call, and she goes to this guy named this guy's mansion named Benjamin Lockwood, and Benjamin Lockwood is played by James Cromwell. James Cromwell, who's been in loads of other movies from The Longest Yard, the one with Adam Sandler, I, Robot, his debut when he was much younger in which I reviewed the comedy Murder by Death, when that was his first film. James Cromwell, he's been in lots of movies. For Babe, how can I forget? That was that's his best role, Babe, and the sequel. And Star Trek, the Next Generation movie, First Contact, as Zephron Cochrane. So James Cromwell, he's been in a lot of movies, but he plays Benjamin Lockwood, and which of course this was added in. There was no mention of this in the other movies. But he used to be partners with John Hammond, Richard Attenborough's character. There is even a picture of Richard Attenborough, may he rest in peace, as John Hammond. But he and him, they were partners. They both created the Jurassic Park together, which was more Richard Attenborough. But they worked on it together. But then they departed ways. And Rafe Spall, who plays Eli Mills, who's managing Lockwood's money, you say. And she wants to hire Claire, Bryce Dallas Howard, to save the dinosaurs from Isla Nublar's destruction. Where they said there's another island that's safe they can move there to move those dinosaurs there where it's safe for them. Now that's one nitpick I have. Is that that's another island where dinosaurs can be there to be safe. But once again, like with the previous film, it ignores the Lost World and Jurassic Park 3 because. What about Isla Sorna, Site B, where there's other dinosaurs roaming free? Why don't they move the dinosaurs from Isla Nublar to Site B? But once again, they don't mention Site B in this because they don't mention it in the previous film. So it's ignoring Lost World and number 3. So that's another nitpick. I mean, you say there's another island where the dinosaurs can be safe, but what about what about Isla Sorna, Site B, where they can move those dinosaurs there to that island where they can be safe? They say it's opening at Jurassic Park 3. It's restricted, so that's another nitpick. They, of course, once again, they ignored the first two sequels. So that's another issue. That's one issue I had. That's one nitpick that I have. So yeah, once again, ignoring Jurassic Park 2 and 3, probably because people think they're bad. To me, I don't think they're bad. I grew up with those movies. I love those sequels. To me, probably that's what people think, though. That's why they wanted to ignore them. But I love those 2 sequels, so. But I'm just pointing out, though. So that's a nitpick. Once again, ignoring Jurassic Park 2 and 3. And they want special holds to capture Blue, because she's still alive. She's the last of her kind. So she wants to bring Owen Grady, Chris Pratt, in. At first, he doesn't want. At first, he says no, but then he changes his mind. So so Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard, and 2 other people that were with Claire. This girl, whatever her name was, but she's like this doctor, like a veterinarian type of character. It was a Daniella Pineda. Character is Zia. She's like the veterinarian, and then you got Franklin Webb, who's like this hacker high-tech kid, and he's played by Justice Smith. Now, there's another issue that I have, I mentioned this because Justice Smith will go on later, not that long ago, star in Pokemon Detective Pikachu as the main character, Tim Goodman. Now, I reviewed Pokemon Detective Pikachu. I liked that film, and the one thing I mentioned in Pokemon Detective Pikachu is that I thought his performance was better in that. He's not bad in Pokemon, but he was decent. But here, as I mentioned in that film, in that review, in here I mentioned Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. To me, I thought he was annoying and obnoxious in this film. And the thing is, though, this one was got the negative reviews it got. This film was only nominated for one Razzie, and that was for Justice Smith's Razzie for Justice Smith for worst supporting character, worst supporting role. That's the only Razzie this film got, was for Justice Smith. And yeah, I would see that though, but he's not the worst actor on the Razzies that which I mentioned the Razzies last year, or earlier this year. He wasn't the worst actor though, but I could see why though. To me, he was just annoying. But as I mentioned, Pokemon Detective Pikachu, I thought his performance in that film was much better. Not great, but decent. Like I said, decent. Not in this film, but decent in Pokemon Detective Pikachu. But yeah, so Justice Smith as the character Franklin Webb, he's high tech. They want there to hack into stuff, and when they get to the island, like I said, he's like mentioned, keeps on opening his mouth, just wanting him to shut up. He was like, "Oh, is it the T-Rex? Is it the T-Rex?" And then when the Baryonyx comes in, with the lava's pouring in, he's like screaming like a girl. So, yeah. But like I said, decent Detective Pikachu, not in this film. Annoying. And then when they get there on the island, they meet with this leader of the group of mercenaries. We say mercenaries, but led by Ted Levine. Ted Levine as his character Ken Wheatley. Ted Levine, Buffalo Bill himself from Silence of the Lambs, and then Hills of Eyes remake, and then his role in the show Monk. I like Ted Levine. It was good. It was good to see him and to be a part of this film. So they're leading. They get into the park and they see as a Brachiosaurus walks by, and they get to the place where they want to hack in to track Blue. Then Chris Pratt goes out on his own, and then like you saw in the trailer, where of course another nod to the first movie, where Chris Pratt approaches the place where the flipped over the Jurassic Park Ford car that got, remember, the T-Rex knocked over and then shoved it down into the cliff, into the tree, and then Sam Neill had to get Dr. Grant had to get Tim out of the car that was stuck in the tree and it fell down and flipped over. Yeah, so Chris Pratt, he approaches the flipped over SUV, or the Ford, the Ford car. So yeah, so then he sees Blue, tries to, tells it, come with me. Then they tranquilize it, but then one is like, Chris Pratt, back your man off now. But then Blue attacks one guy. I guess it kills that guy because you see Blue doing this to the guy, but then the guy ends up shooting Blue. But I guess that guy is dead because you don't see the guy get back up, so I guess that guy's dead. And then Ted Levine tranquilizes Chris Pratt. And then they take the girl, Zia, to treat Blue. And then the volcano erupts, and then with Justice Smith and Bryce Dallas Howard, I did like the shot where the lava starts pouring in through where the facility they're at, and the Baryonyx comes in, and that's the Justice Smith is saying, "It's a T-Rex! It's a T-Rex! It's a T-Rex!" And then he starts screaming like a girl, when the Baryonyx comes in. I did like the shot where it's coming in, and the lava's pouring in, and then they escape through the hatch, and with Chris Pratt again, the lava's coming towards him, which people can nitpick. Yeah, like I said, it's a film, it's not supposed to be realistic, but it's saying, because he's that close to lava, it's that hot, he should be burning up at that range when he's trying to warm his way because he's still tranquilized. Yeah, but it's sci-fi, it defies like laws of physics like that, so I'm on that slide. So, but you can see him, he's still tranquilized, he's still moving his way around when this lava's pouring towards him. And to me, my first thoughts when I saw this in the theater, the lava was covering the Ford SUV, the flipped over Ford SUV. I was like, oh man, So it's been there for 20 years, and now that car finally got destroyed by lava. That was my honest thoughts when I first saw that in the theater. Like, oh, that car got destroyed by the lava. Yeah. But so he gets out, and then you get to see the first teaser telling them to run, the stampede coming as the volcano erupts. Then they get into one of the gyrospheres from the previous film. Bryce Dallas Howard and Justice Smith, they get in it, and then they see a Carnotaur. Which was like, I think I mentioned when I did that, my first thoughts on the teaser ever since back then, when I did the video. Yeah, they see a Carnotaur, and which that reminds me, it's like, wow, that's cool. I never seen a Carnotaur on screen since Disney's Dinosaur from 2000, because they were the villains in that movie. So yeah, cool. I was like, okay, I haven't seen a Carnotaur since Disney's Dinosaur from 2000. And I reviewed Disney's Dinosaur, and I even got the poster back there, or I was sitting back there from a while ago, but I reviewed Dinosaur. You can check out my review of that, the Carnotaurs. And then the T-Rex bites it, and then you get this scene right here, which is also another poster as well. So it's this scene right here, Rexy, like from the previous film, and also saying the T-Rex from the first movie, Rexy. You get the scene where she roars, the volcanoes exploding. She gets away. But she gets brought on the boat. And then, like I said, the gyrosphere goes over the cliff, and then some of the dinosaurs, they die because they're on the cliff though, but they jump in the water, but they can't swim, so they drowned. And I did like the scene where they're under the water. They're actually filming it underwater, not on a green screen. Well. But it's actually filmed underwater. It's for them trying to break out of the gyrosphere. I did like that. And then they realize it's all a lie. But they see the dinosaurs being hurled into the boat, and then they make it onto the boat. And you get as the meteors are coming down, there's a nice explosion where it hits some flammable cans. A good explosion there. Whereas when Justin is like, "Am I dead? Not yet, kid." But when they get a couple good explosions there. And then they get on the boat, and then you get, probably everyone mentions, which it is a sad scene, where as they're on the boat, they're looking, and they see the one Brachiosaurus got left behind, and you see it slowly getting covered by the smoky sea, and when it's in the smoky sea, its shadow of it standing up, and then eventually fades in the smoke. Which that is a very sad scene. Some people say that that's the same Brachiosaurus from the first movie when Dr. Grant and the others, they first arrive on the island, they see the first the live Brachiosaurus. Some people point out that was the same one from the first movie when they first see that, though. I would know, but if Rexy is the same T-Rex from the first movie, so I would buy that's the same one they saw from the first movie. So, but at the same time, that was a sad scene when they just left it, when the Brachiosaurus got left behind, and then it disappeared in that cloud of smoke, and it died, behind the cloud of smoke. And that was a sad scene. It was. So as they're on the island, and we found out that Eli Mills, Rafe Spall, he's our main human villain. He didn't want to save the dinosaurs. Well, he did though, but he wants to sell them to rich people, which is a cliche thing though. It is a cliche thing. Where he meets with auctioneer named Gunnar Avensol, played by Toby Jones. Toby Jones, who played Dobby from Harry Potter, and played Arnim Zola from the Marvel MCU, from Captain America, and his little role in the Winter Soldier as well. And he had appearance as the same character in Agent Carter. So yeah, Toby Jones. He was also into Stephen King's The Mist as well. So yeah, he also appears in this film as well. So it's nice to see Toby Jones as well. And Rafe Spall takes him to show the lab underneath down below, and they're creating a new dinosaur, which I forgot to mention in the opening. Which this starts off like a horror movie. I forgot to mention the opening because it starts out like a horror movie where engine is there's a underwater sub. They want to take a bone sample from the skeletal remains of the Indominus Rex from the previous movie, and they send it up. But as soon as they do, I did like the shot where, see me right now, right? I'm the underwater sub. like from the movie, it's we're facing the audience, and right behind, I like the shot where the mosasaur from the previous movie is coming right behind them, and it's like gonna eat them, and then it cuts away outside. The light outside under the water is gone. So yeah, I did like that shot. This film starts off like a horror movie. So yeah, it shows like the wide shot from the upper sub, and then behind is the mosasaur getting ready to eat them, which it does because you see the outside the light from the underwater cuts off, and then the one guy who's out there, he's ready to close the gate, and then the Rexy comes out, chases him, and he steps on that pad, and so the gate is now stuck open. So and which I'll get to he gets on the ladder, and I did like where the Rexy was grabbing onto the ladder, but the guy thinks he's safe, but then all of a sudden, boom, the Mosasaur jumps out and just goes and eats that guy. And then the Mosasaur goes, since the gate's open, the Mosasaur goes out and now swimming freely into the ocean now. And I also did like how the title, our logo, the title, with Michael Giacchino's music, sounded like a horror movie. I like how the logo of this comes in with the lava pouring on, then boom, with Michael Giacchino's eerie horror theme music, Fallen Kingdom. So I did like how the logo was presented as well. So yeah, I like the opening, how it starts like a horror movie, but it's supposed to be like a horror movie. But I also like how the logo was presented with Michael Giacchino's eerie score. So, But then they're creating a new dinosaur called the Indoraptor, and then Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard, they get caught, and our villain Rafe Spall has them locked up. And I like what they're talking when they're locked up. Bryce Dallas Howard and Chris Pratt, they're talking, and she's talking about, you ever remember the first time you saw a dinosaur? And he gets like a little bit of John Williams piano music, do 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 do, like the little subtle one from towards the end of the first film. And so then the auction comes, all these rich people to buy dinosaurs, and like the first they sell is the Ankylosaur, the armored one, which is kind of weird. It says that they sold that one for $10 million. But I think, isn't that kind of low for a price to pay for a live dinosaur? $10 million. I'm just pointing out though, but whatever. And then they see this, and then we see the auction as an Allosaur, and then I like the idea where Chris Pratt gets like that. It's not a Pachycephalosaurus. It's another one that's kind of resembles one, because that's another one that has like a dome head as well. It's not called Pachycephalosaurus, but it's a different name for this other type of domed head one. He whisks it and for it to break through the other side where they're at, and then uses it to break through the gate where they're locked in. And then Chris Pratt says, "You're welcome." And then she gets and the whole thing before that with back with James Cromwell, Maisie, his grandchild. I do that, but people already seen the film, but I already know. That's why I'm doing this though. His grandchild Maisie. She overhears what Rafe Spall was telling with Toby Jones. She told him about this, and then later, shortly afterwards, he's talking to Rafe Spall before the auction, and saying, tells him to pick up the phone and call the police. It's better to hear that they get the story from you. And then Rafe Spall said John Hammond was right. It was an unholy thing that you did, and I'm not the only guilty one here. So he kills James Cromwell off screen, but you get the idea. He picks up a pill and he was gonna smother him to death. And he had that cane, what John Hammond did with that mosquito and the ember. Then the thing falls down and breaks. Yeah, but he killed him off screen by smothering him with a pillow. So Maisie was she escapes from her room because she went down there snooping, because she snooped down there as well. That's why she got thrown in her room. But she escapes from that place, and then she ends up meeting with because she finds that her James Cromwell dead, so she runs away into the dome waiter and meets with Bryce Dallas Howard and Chris Pratt. And they look at the auction and they bring in the Indoraptor. And I do like the design. To me, the design of the Indoraptor is much more better. Is a better looking design than the Indominus Rex was. That's just me though. As this one was black and with a yellow stripe going on it. It it was a better cool looking design than the Indominus Rex was. So I like the Indoraptor. And plus, like I said, the effects here, as I mentioned, not only just practical effects and animatronic effects, the CG to me was better than the one in the previous film. So the effects, the CG, and the more the practical animatronic effects were much more better improvement here than the previous film. And so, yeah, and plus, including with the Indoraptor, was much better looking effects. There was a little bit of mixture of that. And also before, while they were on the boat, treating for Blue, which fully animatronic effect, which was very good. And then they had to get the blood from the T-Rex, from Rexy. And that was also good animatronic effects, where she had to get on top to get the blood, and for Chris Pratt to jump out of the way to escape. So yeah, the great animatronics. You can still do practical stuff, you just need to take the time and effort for it. Sure, the budget might be a bit more though, but it's worth seeing on the screen. It's real. You can see it physically on the screen. They're physically touching it and whatever. It's better than just like CGI where they're standing here looking at nothing. So that's why the effects here were better improved than the previous film. And even with Blue was great effects. The Rexy was great effects, and there was even a little bit of practical stuff with the Indoraptor as well, which I appreciate. It wasn't fully CG'd. So yeah, the Indoraptor, and there's one thing I don't get though with the whole, because they want to make it as a weapon, which is typical nowadays, because they do engineer stuff, they always want to make it as a weapon, so that's a cliche that I'll let it slide though. Well, the thing is though, they want it with a laser sighting, and then use this high-pitched sound to make it go attack whoever the laser pointing on. I mean, they see the laser sight, but it's better just let it to see that. I don't know. I didn't get the whole laser sighting with the whole high-pitched sound for it to go attack the person. So, but then Chris Pratt lets that dinosaur to let them out in the elevator, and when it gets out of the elevator, it starts ramming people down, ramming people, like toss them up and stuff. I was like, I did get a chuckle out of that. Yeah, just headbutting these people and send them flying. A few people get hurled up, tossed up. And then Chris Pratt, like, has more to do. First, earlier when they're traveling the gyrosaur, he tries shooting it, and he tries and gets them out. And here, when he's attacking some bad guys, some mercenaries, he's punching people and kicking them. You know, he tosses one and just punches him. So here he has more to do. And then gets a gun and he starts shooting the Indoraptor. So here he has more to do than he did in the previous film. And so everyone gets out, and some of the people. Most of the people, I should say. And then Ted Levine, he does a stupid thing where he sees the Indoraptor, he shoots it, which he thinks he has it tranquilized, and he gets in there because he wants one of the he has his little wants to pick out a tooth for his little collection he's been taking from other dinosaurs. Like earlier, he took one from a Stegosaurus, which is also up close looking good animatronic as well. When he was picking a tooth from the Stegosaurus, he's like, you'll feel that in the morning. So here, yeah, that was another good piece of animatronic there up close. So, but so he wanted another one. So he wanted to try to take one from the Indoraptor. And like I said, up close, a good animatronic looking effect, up close. And then I like when it kind of messes with Ted Levine, where he thinks it's tranquilized, but it's not though. Like, it lifts his tail, and when he looks at it, and it's nothing there. And then when he's not looking, you see the Indoraptor open its eye, and I can see clearly it's open its eye. It does like a little slight grin. When it opens its eye, it does like a little, and then goes back. I did find that funny, show how smart it is. And then he tries to go out again, and then does his tail lifted up, and then all of a sudden his boom just grabs Ted Levine, just chomps his arm off, and then swallows it. And then it kills Ted Levine, and just goes first it roars in his face, and then it kills Ted Levine. And then Toby Jones, he finds a chance to get into the elevator where some other people are. Then he pushes the code in to shut the doors, and then the Indoraptor goes and tail whips it and breaks the control and opens up, and then he dies off screen, but you see him hear him screaming when it cuts away. He's dead meat, including those other people that are in the elevator with him. And then this is where it gets into a horror movie. Well, it has been when the Indoraptor came in. But yeah, but it's a cat and mouse chase, so which I enjoyed, through this big mansion, and we got Michael Giacchino's like eerie score, like it's a horror movie, where where they're in the mansion and they see a dead body trying to get the gun, then boom, it gets tugged away by the Indoraptor, and they're trying to avoid it. So it is like, it turns into a horror film, a cat and mouse chasing in a horror movie in this big mansion. And people say it's like, it's like the Lost World, but that was it was different, because the T-Rex was in the city. Here it's inside a big mansion. So I thought it was a little bit different though. So yeah, that's why another thing I liked. And I forgot to mention B.D. Wong as Dr. Henry Wu. He comes back. He's the one who engineered the Indoraptor with Ray Spall's help. First, because he didn't want the Indoraptor being sold, because it was just a prototype though. And then when he was talking with the girl, the veterinarian, Zia, he wanted the blood from Blue, but she tells him that her blood's contaminated because she crossed it with a T-Rex. And then Justice Smith, he knocks out B.D. Wong with an injection. He's not dead though, because one of the guys carries him out, so he's pretty still alive. So if he is, he probably will see him again in the third film. So, but if he comes back in the third film, we'll probably see his character die, because his character is long overdue, because he died in the first. If everyone remembers the first book, he died in the first Jurassic Park book. He was killed by a raptor, so maybe in the third film, maybe he'll get killed by Blue, because she's the only raptor left. So maybe she'll kill him. I don't know. I'm just saying, because I'm just pointing out. So if he comes back though again. But he's still alive. One of the guys carries him out, and then Blue attacks a couple guys and settles an explosion. She runs away from the explosion, and then with the whole cat and mouse with the Indoraptor, Chris Pratt shoots it. Well, first we get I would say another dumb scene, where I'll give credit to this one dumb scene where Maisie, she goes and hides in her bed. I mean, what good does hiding in a bed do? Under your bed, probably, so it probably won't find you, but not hide on your bed and put the covers up like, ooh. Yeah, so I will give that. Yeah, probably either in your closet, in that wardrobe you had, or under your bed, but not on the bed under the covers. But the Indoraptor, which is another thing, the Indoraptor was on the roof. Maybe it had a chance to escape from the mansion, go out in the wilderness or whatever, out in the open, but instead it doesn't do that though. But it shows, like, portraying how the raptors were in the first film, like in the kitchen scene where it opens a door, like same thing it does here, and then it does with the big toenail it did in the first film, where the raptors did, same thing it did here, showing how smart it is. Then Chris Pratt shoots it, then Blue fights it, and then you get the thing on the rooftop where they try to lure on this glass roof, and then Bryce Dallas Howard helps out with that laser sighting, and then with Blue's help, both fall down. I did like the shot where it's slow-mo, where Blue and the Indoraptor are like intertwining, twirling as they're falling down in slow motion. I did like that shot. I really did. Stop talking too fast. Sorry. But I did like the shot where they're slowly twirling in slow-mo, falling down, then the Indoraptor gets impaled by the skull head of the Triceratops on the horns. And then Chris Pratt, after they're leaving, well, before that, the dinosaurs, they're in containment, they're trapped because the doors are closed, and there's this poisonous gas, which I'm wondering, why did they have poisonous gas in there in that place in the first place? Well, in case they tried to escape? I don't know why they had poisonous gas in there in the first place. But Bryce tells hard. She gets them out though, but the doors are closed. But Chris Pratt tells him, if you do this, there's no going back. So she wants to do it though, but at the same time, she doesn't. Ultimately, she doesn't do it. But then the doors open, and Maisie's the one who pushed it. She says, I had to, because they're alive like me. Because, like I said, grandchild, but she's not. She's actually a clone. she's a clone of James Cromwell's daughter who died in a car crash years back. So this is the reason why it drove him and John Hammond apart, because of human cloning. So because he cloned his daughter, so that's his daughter, a clone of her daughter. That's what happened. And Rafe Spall tells him this. Tells him this, like, you don't know what she is. Lockwood never had a grandchild. He just wanted her daughter back. He made her again. So yeah. That's the reason why she did, because they're clones and she's a clone. That's the reason why she did it. But at the same time, you just let a whole bunch of dinosaurs roam free, where they can just cause property damage and probably kill or stomp and run over people. Even the T-Rex and the Blue, you know. I think there was even a Carnotaur was out there. So using you do the right. In your mind, you do the right thing, because she's a clone, they're clones. But at the same time, you let all these dinosaurs roam free, where they can cause property damage and probably stomp over some people, you know. So it's like it's you know, like what Danny Glover says in Predator 2, the door swings both ways. I like that line. I love that line. The door swings both ways. So yeah, it's a good thing, but the flip side, it's a bad thing. So yeah, like I said, the door swings both ways. So yeah, and then they come out, and then Rafe Spall, he gets his ass eaten by Rexy, and the other half by the Carnotaur, and then Rexy steps on the bone of the Indominus Rex that they wanted to save for help clone the Indoraptor. Steps on that. Even Rexy, she even does it after when she eats Rafe Spall. She does that same pose that she did at the end of Jurassic Park when she roared and when the banner fell down. That same look and pose from the end of the first film. So now all the dinosaurs are released in the wild. Blue, Chris Pratt, which is another thing I like. It was much more improved than the previous film, but I did like the bond between Blue and Chris Pratt. I did like that. It was much more handled here, better than the previous film. So that's another thing I'll give props to. The bond between Blue and Chris Pratt. You know, she said, I'll take you to a safe place, and then she looks at the cage, says no, and goes and runs off. And now comes back with Jeff Goldblum in the courtroom, saying that it's like, how many times the evidence is pointed out? How many times the point is being made? Too many lines were crossed. Genetic power has now been unleashed. It's been unleashed ever since it was a mistake ever since we brought the first dinosaur back from extinction. Now, people are forced to coexist with dinosaurs now. And then you see, like in the trailer, you see the mosasaur in the ocean where people are surfing. It's in the wave. And then you get I'll say it was a cool shot when Rexy is face to face, starts roaring, and then face to face with a lion. You know, one king to another. Get it? Because lions are supposed to say like are supposed to like the king of the jungle. The lions are, yeah. So you got one king roaring back against another king. I guess that was supposed to be the whole point. But I did like the shot with the T-Rex roar, and then the lion roars back. And then Jeff Goldblum is, we've entered a new era now. Welcome to Jurassic World. And again, with Michael Giacchino's score playing, with Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard with Maisie now. And then it ends with Blue, calling over the wide shot of a suburban neighborhood. So yeah. So Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, I really do enjoy the sequel. It's much better improvement than Jurassic World was. Cast wise, well, especially better performance wise from these two here. And the supporting cast was good, well, except for Justice Smith. But like I said, better improvement in Pokemon Detective Pikachu. Just decent wise. But effects wise was much better improvement, both CGI and animatronic practical effects wise, much more, which I appreciate. Score I thought was better, and the direction by a different director, by J.A. Bayona, and I definitely say it was made more into a horror movie, with much more darker tone atmosphere. I can clearly see that, definitely a shit in tone than the previous film. So I definitely say it was much more of it was basically to me it was more like a horror movie. They made it into a horror movie with the dark tone it was. So I definitely did like that. That's definitely one thing I do like about this film. especially towards the end, it would turn into a horror film when it with the whole cat and mouse scene and the chase in the mansion. Like this, to the bond between Blue and Owen was much better improvement. Cast, effects, score. What else? Also, yeah, the writing is much better. Especially one of the writers was the director of the previous film. So, but yeah, Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, I really do it. It's this why I enjoy the film much better than the previous film. It's my third favorite film of last year. But I'm curious to see how the third film goes. But just like I said, the director of the first one comes back to direct it though, so I just hope he does a better job with that one than he did with this one, because otherwise more doors left open how the way this film ends. So see how it goes. And I just heard that they're making it from DreamWorks Animation. They're making a series, which was taking place during the events of the first one of Jurassic World. So I don't know how that plays out. So it's supposed to come out next year in 2020, but I don't know how that plays out. So we'll see on that. But yeah, I do enjoy Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. I definitely give it a thumbs up right here. But people aren't exactly fans of this film as well. Not only with critics, but fans as well. Understandable though, but I would disagree. I think it's much better improvement over the previous film. So yeah, but if you don't like the film, that's fine. Prefer the first film better, fine. But I would just disagree with it. This is a much better movie. So yeah. But yeah, and I also forgot to mention, it's definitely much more faster paced than the previous film. Previous pacing was just slow and boring. Here, it's 2 hours, but it was definitely much more faster paced. So yeah, so that's my review on Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. Thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for me finishing off more of Anime Month. So stay tuned for my last few videos for Anime Month. So stay tuned for that. But I just had to get these two out of the way. So. But yeah, I can't believe it's already been a year since this film came out. But yeah, I got the poster. You can check out my birthday vlog. It's in the thumbnail. You can check that out. I got the poster of that, which is this. But thanks for watching, and stay tuned on the next anime review. Later.